Hey, what's going on, guys? Steve Alverson here. The title of this video is what is the best advice you've ever received? I've actually been seeing this question pop up quite a bit recently. I've had it show up in my news feed. I've seen, for whatever reason, there's just been a recurring question that keeps arising. So I've kind of made a renewed, or I should say, a massive commitment to myself and my business to make more videos and try to get good at this video thing, because I think it can help my audience and allow me to get better results in my business. And so I figured I'd just hop on here and make a quick video to answer this question, and I'll stick it up on my growing YouTube channel. And it's actually a really important question because, at least for me it is, because the person that gave me the best advice I've ever received is my father, and he actually recently passed away. And so I've actually really been reflecting on some of the different nuggets that he's given me over the years. And there's one in particular that I'm going to share with you here in just a second, but it's really been on my mind a lot lately, just all the stuff that he taught me over the years. And he really had a special way of giving advice without making you feel small. Like, some people give advice and it's really more about them hearing themselves talk, and so there's very low value. I think in sometimes we get advice and it just feels like shit. It doesn't feel it doesn't just make us feel good. It doesn't make us feel like the person really had our best interests at heart when they gave us this advice. So a lot of times it's really more about that person just wanting to hear themselves talk and ramble on than it is about actually giving something of value to somebody else. But my dad, for some reason, he had this gift that he would be able to really give you. It wasn't always pleasant, the advice he gave, but it was always the truth. And he would oftentimes, if you presented a problem to him, whether it was a relationship or a job or just life shit, you just come to him with something, he wouldn't always respond right away. He would oftentimes, we called him the pregnant pauser, because he would sometimes make you wait days, weeks, or even months to respond to something. And so I think that was just his way of really internalizing something. I don't think he liked giving bad information, and so he really put really deep thought into the words that he would use and the way he would present information. And the benefit to that for my life was that he never made me feel small. He never made me feel insignificant because I was having a problem. He never compounded the issue with the advice that he would give. And so I actually just told this story at his memorial service. He passed away about a month ago, and I was able to share this story of the best advice he ever gave me, so I'll share that with you now. So it actually relates, let's just kind of go back a little bit. It was probably 2001. I was maybe 21, 22 at the time. I'd just gotten out of the military, and I was sleeping on a buddy's couch. And I was, at that time I was really struggling. I didn't know, what the fuck I was doing. I was just confused and had a bad attitude, and was kind of just blaming the rest of the world for the shit that I got myself into. I really couldn't get out of my own way, and I was really stuck in my head with, the woe is me, the sob story, the why can't I get my life together, my boss, this and that. And I was living in LA, and my dad had a construction company, or an architectural design company, that he would install really cool shapes on houses and really customize the look and feel of a house, whether it was an arch or columns. And he would make all these shapes out of styrofoam and coat them with fiberglass mesh, and you could literally create any shape, color, whatever you need for architectural designs like columns and moldings. And he would make these really cool wood beams. And so he had a project going very close to where I was crashing at my buddy's house on the couch. And I remember calling him I was out of work. I didn't have any money. I was broke as a joke, just completely struggling. Not knowing what the next day even held. Just didn't have a pot to piss in. I was all jacked up. And I remember calling him one night and I said, "Hey, you got any work?" He said, "Yeah, I'm in Rancho Santa Fe." Or it was Pacific Palisades, which is right near Santa Monica. And he said, "Yeah, come on down. I'll put you to work. I'll give you some cash." And so I did. The next morning I met him at the job site bright and early, of course. He was always the first one there, dark 30, like 5 o'clock in the morning. We showed up with our coffee and got to work. And, I think he kind of knew that I was struggling. He knew that there was a lot on my mind. And, I kind of shared with him that morning, that I was really struggling. And I just didn't, it's kind of like, what am I doing wrong here? And, give me some advice. I was kind of like begging for his words of wisdom to try and kind of help me, hoping for him to, give me $2,000 or something, or just, float me some cash, or give me half ownership in his company or something. I don't know what I was hoping for, but obviously I was just hoping for the easy way out at that time. And he made me wait, as he usually did. I could tell that the gears were turning in his head, because he really didn't say a whole lot that day. I mean, he was kind of pointing, giving me direction on the job site, what to do, but he didn't really respond right away to my question. But I could tell that he was deep in thought, kind of throughout the day, and we put in a good, strong work day that day, and at the end of the day, we had worked like 12 hours. We were both beat tired. We were all muddied up and dirty, and from working on the job site all day. He gave me, I think it was $50 or $60 for that day. I think $5 an hour, whatever it was. Worked 12 hours, so I think it was $60. And we sat down in the cab of his truck, and I was getting ready to leave, and he said, "Son, I want to talk to you about what's going on." And I was kind of like, "Okay, great. Let's lay it on me." And he said, and these are the words that have kind of stuck with me even to this day. It's helped me, and it'll probably help you too if it's something that you're struggling with, or if you haven't had that sort of that aha moment in your life yet, and you still feel like you haven't quite accepted yourself yet. And so what he told me was, he said, "I know you're struggling. I know you're kind of searching for what your next step is and what your next move is." And he said, "I can't tell you what your next move should be, other than no matter what happens to you, no matter what situations arise, whether someone else puts you there, or if it doesn't matter what other people do. Like, you can't control what the decisions that other people make, but you can control your attitude and how you respond to those things." And so basically what he said in kind of one encapsulated phrase, what he said, no matter what happens to you, it's your fucking fault. And so I remember kind of sitting there, and he stopped, and he kind of like let those words marinate for a little bit, and then he said, "So everything that you're dealing with right now is your fucking fault. It's nobody else's fault but yours. You're struggling because of your decisions. Nobody else put you where you are. You put yourself there, and there's no rule that says you can't get out of it and start making better decisions for your life." And it's really a blessing that I actually listened to him, because normally I didn't. Normally he would give me these nuggets of wisdom, and I would just ignore it and go about doing things my own way. But I think I was actually at that moment, ready to hear the truth. Even though it wasn't pleasant, it was what I needed to hear, and what is the best advice I've ever received. And so that's affected my sales career, it's affected my jobs, it's affected my life, it's affected my marriage, it's affected how I treat my kids, it's affected pretty much the whole of my life, and it's carried me through, and it will continue to carry me through my life, just because of the power of that. It's really a mindset, right? It's like bad shit happens to all of us, no matter what. Everyone's gotten fired. Everyone's might be working a job they hate, or struggling to get their business going, or whatever that thing is, or they've got a kid that's behavior problems or whatever. Everyone has something in their life that's there that either they contributed to or that happened out of their control. And so I think if you adopt this mindset, or at least try to, and that's kind of the struggle, right, is the continual reminder of this sort of mindset shift of stopping, really just stopping this stupid blame game that we all do. Just, it's not your mom's fault, it's not your dad's fault, it's not your fucking boss's fault, it's not your neighbor's fault. No matter what happens to you, it is your fucking fault, and it's your responsibility. And I think that's just such a powerful concept, and I'm actually really glad I got to share it with you here, just because it's kind of like my dad's legacy. I mean, it's, I've had plenty of people that I've turned to for advice over the years, but nobody could kind of, really articulate things that made sense to me other than my dad. And he always had a really good way of, delivering messages in the right way, and, it just allowed it to kind of sink in the right way, and just, not overwhelm you with too much, but at the same time give you some tough truths. So I'm very grateful for that lesson. And he gave me a shit ton more throughout my life, but I think that was probably the best one, because that really, if I look back on it now, I don't think I realized it then, but looking back on it now, that was a massive turning point in my life, because it was like now I was kind of able to, know what to expect or what not to expect. I mean, that's part of it too, right? My thing is expect nothing so you can be ready for anything. And I think it does take a little bit of self-awareness and kind of an understanding of human behavior to kind of get to that level where you're not in the mode of, just kind of like bitter and angry, right? So if you find yourself bitter and angry, or blaming the world or the president, or it's the economy, or, all that shit is bullshit. It's all just a fucking excuse. It's just it's a burden on your mind to think like that. And I think that was what was so powerful for me. It was just this little mindset hack that my dad gave me, this little tweak. Because I think I'd heard it before. I think he may have said it in a different way before. When I was a kid, he would always say, rights and privileges are an automatic benefit of duties and responsibilities thinking, which is a similar sort of advice, just worded differently, and that's more of like a scolding thing. It's like, hey, stop playing video games and get out in the yard and work. The video games will automatically come if you focus on your chores type shit, but it's just a powerful message that I think can help anybody if you really just put some thought into it and realize that there's nothing in life that happens to any of us that we should ever create an excuse for, or give ourselves an out, or allow ourselves to blame, point the finger outside of ourselves. Like, there should always be that finger pointing right back at you. Not necessarily in a blame way, but just in taking a responsibility for your life way. It can be done in a positive way that doesn't sow bitterness in your life, right? It creates this confidence. It can create positivity. It can create good, positive vibes. It can create, really good things. It doesn't have to be this tough lesson that you now become bitter about. It can be, it can make a change for the better. So that's it for this video, guys. I'm going to try to keep I was trying to keep it below 10, but So we're getting over 14 minutes here. So that pretty much answers that question, I think, for me. What's the best advice I've ever received? Would love to hear your comments. If you're looking at this on one of the social media platforms, please like the video if you got some value out of it. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like I said earlier, I've got a commitment here with myself to create a lot more videos like this, and marketing and sales and things that are related to my business, but also life stuff as well that I've learned along the way that I think might be beneficial to the people that are watching. So appreciate you taking the time to check out the video. Have a good one, guys. Take care.